I didn't become detached because I stopped loving. I became detached because loving like that was slowly destroying me. There is a kind of pain that doesn't come from being hurt once, but from hoping over and over that someone will finally change. You don't leave because they're cruel. You don't leave because they're bad. You stay because you see their potential. You see who they could be, who they almost are, who they promise they want to become, and you keep waiting for that version to arrive. That's where the suffering lies. Not in what is happening, but in what you keep believing might happen one day. I used to think detachment meant giving up, that it meant becoming cold, that it meant shutting my heart down. But that's not what detachment is. Detachment is what happens when your heart is tired of bleeding quietly. It's what happens when you finally admit the truth you've been avoiding. This is who they are. This is how they show up. This is what they are capable of right now. And no amount of love, patience, or sacrifice is going to turn potential into reality. The hardest part isn't letting go of them. The hardest part is letting go of the version of the future you built in your mind, the conversations you imagined, the healing you believed would come, the love you thought would eventually feel safe. You weren't attached to the person. You were attached to the hope. Hope that kept you trying. Hope that kept you explaining. Hope that kept you shrinking yourself just a little more each time. And slowly, without noticing, you stopped living in the present. You lived in maybe. You lived in someday. You lived in if only. That's when let them stopped being a concept and became a necessity. Let them be who they are, not who they say they'll become, not who they are on their best days, not who you know they could be if things were different. Who they are. Let them show you their consistency. Let them show you their priorities. Let them show you how much effort they're willing to give. And don't argue with what they show you, because reality is honest, even when it hurts. Most people don't want detachment, because detachment forces a decision. It forces you to ask, can I live like this if nothing changes? Not survive, not endure, life. And when the answer is no, you finally understand something painful and freeing at the same time. You don't need them to be wrong in order to choose yourself. You don't need a villain. You don't need a dramatic ending. You don't need permission. You just need honesty. Let me stop living in potential. Let me stop loving someone's future at the cost of my present. Let me stop waiting for a version of love that only exists in my imagination. This is where detachment becomes gentle, not angry, not bitter, not resentful, just clear. Detachment sounds like this. I care about you, and I accept that this is who you are, and I will no longer abandon myself to keep this connection alive. No ultimatums, no emotional bargaining, no silent resentment, just a quiet decision to return to yourself. And here's the part no one tells you. Detachment doesn't always end relationships. Sometimes it saves them, because love without pressure can breathe. Love without control can soften. Love without self-erasure can finally be real. And if the relationship doesn't survive detachment, it means it was never built on mutual choice. It was built on hope, and hope is not a foundation. You are allowed to love without losing yourself. You are allowed to care without carrying everything. You are allowed to choose peace without hating anyone. Let them be who they are, and let yourself come home to the life you've been postponing. Detachment isn't cold. It's the moment you stop bleeding and start living again.